On this day and on the night we have just passed, in many places throughout the world there are great festivities taking place. For this is the time of the summer solstice, the time when the days are the longest and the nights the shortest in the northern hemisphere. In some of the very northern countries, like in Scandinavia and the Baltic countries, this time is celebrated by people leaping over huge bonfires, and these bonfires have taken on a significance regarding courtship and marriage and fertility and harvest. The wisdom of the ages has infused itself into the celebration of this midsummer night's dream, the summer solstice. In some places, these bonfires are known as St. John's Fire, for it is also the feast of the birth of John the Baptist. It is no accident that we celebrate the birth of John the Baptist at this time of the year. Where I come from, we didn't have those bonfires, but we did have smaller lights, which we called lightning bugs or fireflies. Those little bugs weren't pesky like the mosquitoes or the flies, but they were magical things in the eyes of children. The fireflies lit up the summer night sky. We used to love to catch them and put them in a jar, always with holes in the top, of course, and these jars made a lantern for us. If you had 4 or 5 of them inside a jar, that lantern gave off enough light that you could read at night. Fireflies are a remarkable and wonderful phenomenon. In some places, the lightning bugs are called St. John's bugs, because it is at this time, around St. John's Day, that they begin to give off their light. The birthday of John the Baptist is one of the most ancient feasts of the Church. There are only 3 individuals whose birthday we celebrate on the liturgical calendar, and mine is not one of them. Those 3 individuals are Jesus, Mary, and John the Baptist. So great is he considered. In the case of every other saint, we just celebrate their death day. John the Baptist has both a death day and a birthday. Indeed, our Muslim brothers and sisters have a belief that corresponds to ours, because they say that John the Baptist was the one blessed by God at his birth and at his death. Why do we celebrate John's birth now? It's not because we know he was born on the 24th of June. We don't know that. It is because of John's words, "I must decrease, and the Christ must increase." And so the Church, in some playful wisdom, has from ancient times assigned him that day when the daylight is the longest. From here on out, the days will be decreasing as John wanted to decrease. Why do we celebrate the birth of Jesus on December 25th? Not because we know he was born on that day, but because that is the time of the days of the winter solstice, when the days are the shortest of the year. And from Christmas on, the days will only get bigger. Christ increases while John decreases. What a beautiful little liturgical play we have in affixing these dates to these particular feasts. As children, we honored the lightning bugs, the fireflies, very much. There are many peoples on this earth who do the same, but perhaps nowhere is this more apparent than among the Cherokee people of our own land. The Cherokee have a beautiful legend about the fireflies. According to this story, there was once a very hot and dry summer, and it was unbearable to be in the noon sun. So the children of the Cherokee village would go down every day to the stream to bathe in the cool waters. One little 4-year-old girl wanted to join the other children, even though she was so small. She begged her mother, and finally the good mother allowed her to go down to the creek with the other children, provided that her older brother watch over her there. The children all went down to the stream, and they played in the water, ran through the meadow, chased little animals, and had a good time. But then all of a sudden a storm arose. The children were plunged into darkness, and a torrential rain began to fall. The little girl's brother gathered all the children together to shepherd them home to the village, but he could not find his little sister. They looked and looked, but could not find her. So the children ran off to the village to tell the parents that the girl was lost in the darkness. Of course, the father and mother were very worried. The father and several uncles set off with the brother to find the little child. They lit torches to see their way through the darkness of the storm. But within moments the torches would always blow out in the wind or be drowned by the rain. They could not see their way to find the child. All of a sudden, in front of them appeared a swarm of fireflies, which slowly began moving in the direction of the creek. The braves realized that these lightning bugs were trying to lead them to the little girl. They followed the heavenly lights, and sure enough, the glowing swarm stood still over the place where the little girl was, her foot entrapped in the roots of a tree. So they rescued the little girl, and again, led by the faithful fireflies, brought her home to the safety of the village. When the braves turned around to thank these firefly friends of theirs who had shown them to the girl, to their amazement they saw that the lightning bugs were ascending up to the skies, becoming larger and more luminous than ever. And that is how the stars came into being. What a beautiful legend! So it is that these people, just as we as children, honor the firefly, that mysterious light of the night sky. All of us live in a world of light and darkness. Sometimes we seem to be enveloped in light, and other times bathed in the darkness of sadness, despair, confusion, fear. We look to the religious establishment for light, and all too often find none there. But there are always little fireflies, prophets of light, illuminating our darkness, bringing us hope, and leading us to a place of light. The darkness, be it the establishment or the people, may seek to destroy these prophets of light. It was ever thus in the history of humanity, as Jesus said. But always new ones will be raised up in their place. Not all of us are called to be great prophets. There was only one, John the Baptist. Not all of us are capable of being huge bonfires to light up the world around us. But all of us, from time to time, are capable of being little fireflies to one another, little glimmers of hope to the world. And when the darkness threatens to overcome the light, perhaps it is then that we cease to be fireflies and become stars.